Good evening, and welcome to the January 12, 2026 legislative session for the City of Salisbury. In event of an emergency, please remain calm and exit through the double doors that you came in. Make a right and proceed to the stairwell. If the hallway is blocked, then exit to the left, around the corner, and down the stairs. Please do not use the elevator and let us know if you need any assistance. At this time, make sure that your cell phones are silenced. And before we get to the pledge, I want to review one more thing on the rules of order before we get into tonight's session. Page 7, under the public comment and participation part, spills over to page 8. I, any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, or who becomes boisterous in any manner and disrupts the meeting while addressing the council, may be warned by council president and, if necessary, requested to leave the meeting immediately. In addition, just so the people who aren't in chambers and in the public know in general, that the city police are scheduled to be in attendance at every scheduled council meeting. The Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Holland, would you like to lead into the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to have a moment of silence. We've had a lot going on in the nation this week, so let's take a moment of silence. Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the legislative agenda?
So moved.
Ms. English?
Good evening, Council. For the legislative agenda today, we have one resolution, and we have 3 ordinances, all 3 of which are first reading, public comment, and then adjournment to work session.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Resolutions. Okay, Resolution 3445. Can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 3445?
So move.
Second?
Ms. English?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, amending the Salisbury City Council regulations and rules of order.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Okay. Ordinance 2968. Can I get a motion and a second to approve Ordinance 2968 for the first reading?
So move.
Second?
Ms. Boucher?
Good evening, Council. Ordinance number 2968. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving a budget amendment for the FY 2026 general fund budget to accept $2,000 in grant funds from the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore for the Salisbury Fire Department SWIFT program for patient transportation costs before you tonight for first reading.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2969. Can I get a motion and a second to approve Ordinance 2969 for the first reading?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Boucher?
Ordinance number 2969. This is an ordinance of the Council of the City of Salisbury for the closing of Royal Street, Center Street, and a portion of West Vine Street before you tonight for first reading.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2970. Can I get a motion and a second to approve Ordinance 2970 for the first reading?
So moved. Second?
Ordinance number 2970, this is an ordinance approving a budget amendment for the city's FY26 budget, accepting a donation from Draper Holdings Foundation, or charitable foundation, for the Santa Workshop Program. Before you tonight for first reading.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye.
Madam President, did we need to address the resolution, the council regulations and rules of order, the changes that were made?
If you would like to.
Oh, I just didn't know if, for the public, that we needed to address that.
Well, I know we had
Changes
talked
in
about
numbers
it,
7 and 8,
about our,
the change in meetings, yes.
yeah, we talked about it. Did you want to elaborate on it? I know
No, we
we've
just
talked
wanted to
about it.
make sure that, you know, the public was aware that the changes had been made and read on what was sent out. That's all.
We've talked about it on several occasions. I know we're going back to the every week. And on the city's website, they have posted, I believe, isn't it, Julie, I think you have the dates already posted on the city website. Because there's some dates where if there's a Monday holiday, we have 2 Tuesdays, and then there's a couple dates that we're not doing it. Because if we're in MML or a holiday, something like that, we're not doing it. And the dates are posted under council meeting information. And we had to amend the rules of order because in the rules of order dictate our meeting dates. So that was the amendment, which is also in the packet. Okay, we will now hear public comments. You will have 3 minutes. If you wish to comment, please come to the podium, state your name, and if you are a city resident.
KT, city resident. I was thinking about the whole ranked choice voting situation that council is considering. I really think it should be a ballot question. I think it should be a question that goes out to all citizens. You could have town halls about it, but it's just impossible to get enough city people to actually go to these things and voice their opinions, nor is it really an accurate way to count how many people want this, that, or the other thing. So I think it should be on the ballot, whichever ballot. I guess that would be up to the elections committee. And Mayor, I would like to know what your intentions are with Black Lives Matter Boulevard.
Thank you.
Joe Schiaffino, Salisbury. This will be the 3rd time in 2 years that I'm going to ask council to address the dangerous sidewalks around town, especially in my Pinehurst neighborhood. As I've said, I've tripped and fallen a few times in the few years, but my wife walks with a 70-year-old neighbor down the street, and last week she tripped and fell on damaged sidewalk on the corner of North Pinehurst and Riverside. She was laid up for 4 days. Fortunately, she's not the litigious type of person. But, I mean, I've been here 6 years, and I've been talking about it for at least, this is my 3rd time in 2 years. And outside of the ADA replacements, there's been nothing done. There's also some properties in our neighborhood where the shrubbery and trees completely block the sidewalk, so you can't pass. Again, something needs to be done, and I've seen over time on other issues where things get feet dragged and pushed aside, and somebody's going to get hurt. So please do something about that. The other thing I'd like to address, I saw Councilwoman Gregory's viral post on her personal page, and I will say I agree 100% with your sentiment. I just wish you had used a little different language. I got 2 teenage sons, and this generation, the F-bomb is like an adjective. It's, and I'll admit, I'll drop one once in a while too, but again, I share your sentiments 100%. I just wish you'd used a little different language. But thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Robert Taylor, city resident. I want to just build on what you said about the ranked choice voting. My suggestion is just ditch it. It's totally unnecessary. It doesn't do a thing that we need. But more broadly, a couple of things. I think we need to have a calendar on the city website where we have notices of all our meetings. The different boards and commissions, for example, there's an election board meeting, I think it's tomorrow. I couldn't find anything on an agenda for it, but I've just heard street talk that there's going to be a meeting. Don't know what the agenda is because there's nothing posted. On Wednesday, I believe, 14th, there's going to be a planning commission meeting. It's a special meeting to discuss the new draft comprehensive plan. This is important stuff. Nothing on the agenda about it. These meetings, by and large, boards and commissions, are not on PAC 14. They're not recorded. The minutes sometimes come out months afterwards. We need to have more, it's called transparency. Let's do it. Now, on your work session tonight, there is a draft ordinance regarding affordable housing for tax credits for two organizations. One of them is Habitat for Humanity. The other's Salisbury Neighborhood Housing. The one on Habitat is completely unnecessary. 5 years ago, the city passed a tax credit ordinance for Habitat. It's already there. It covers everything that's in this proposed ordinance, plus more. So that's not necessary. Now, on the other part, and I'm not speaking against tax credits for either of these organizations, incidentally. In fact, for neighborhood housing, I believe that it would be prudent to get enabling state legislation for that. Because as Ms. Bochelle will tell you, under Maryland law, you can't give a tax credit, a local government, unless there's specific enabling legislation in the General Assembly, state code, for that credit. That's just the way it is. That's black letter law. I can't find anything that allows for what is proposed in the ordinance, draft ordinance, that's on the work session agenda for Salisbury Neighborhood Housing. Go to the General Assembly. It would be, I think, unopposed. Draft it up. I think you're going to have a work session next week, I guess, based on what you just did now. That can be put in final form, send it to the county council. I'm sure they'll endorse it. Who would be against this, giving them a tax break for what they do? So let's get on with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment before we?
Is this the say anything part? Last time I was here, the Salisbury City Council game show was in full force. I see that Steve Deshaun Dowdy Harvey was self-deported back to where he was living.
We're not gonna get into that. If you have anything pertinent to what we're talking about or anything that's not,
So you are restricting my speech, is that what you're saying?
no, I'm saying that we're gonna follow the rules of order that I read.
The rules of order are restricting my speech.
Okay, we're gonna follow the rules of order, and can you reset his time? I'm gonna reset your time for you, okay?
Okay, pick it up where I left off. My understanding, it was not the Salisbury. And congratulations to the buzzer lady, Vanna Angela Blake White, who was promoted herself with the help of her two comrades to the city council president. And now we have a new addition to the Kamala sisters, Holland, Blake, and Gregory.
Okay, we're not doing the name calling, okay?
That's not name calling.
Okay, this is the part that we're not gonna do. We're not gonna do that this time. We're not getting into this.
So you're
Okay.
restricting my speech again, is that correct?
I'm following
Just-
the rules of order.
Are you
I'm
restricting
following
my
any person
speech?
making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks.
It's not
or
pertinent
becomes
and
boisterous
personal.
in a manner that disrupts
Who
the
are,
meeting
who are you to
while addressing the
judge
council.
what the public wants to hear?
Okay, this is your first warning.
Okay?
Thank you.
And this is your first warning that you are restricting my right to speak.
Okay, no name calling. If you don't like a policy, or
It's
if you
a
don't like,
description. It's
It-
not name. A name
if you
is if
don't-
I called you an
if you
apple.
don't like a policy or procedure, you can talk about that all day long.
That's what I'm
Name calling
talking
and being
about.
slanderous is not
With
is
an
not needed.
analogy.
Okay,
May I define a Kamala sister?
no, that's not appropriate.
Okay. Well, it's not, in other words, you were not you were an appointed official, unelected, not voted on by the citizens of the electorate.
That's not true. In 2019, I was appointed for 10 months, and I've had 2 elections.
You just said you were appointed.
I was appointed in 2019.
Doesn't
You said-
matter. You all were appointed before you were elected,
Okay.
correct?
Okay.
I am not surprised, since they are Democrats who like to endlessly cry democracy, yet with procedural rule operate more like a communist form of government than a republic. And one more time, America is a republic, not a democracy. They love the misinformation label for everybody else, but of course not themselves. The $564,700 for recoding the elevated water tower. Can't you paint 3 of them for that? Seems like a very excessive amount, and I don't understand your bid process. How many bidders and what and who were they? Please present all bids on a handout at the door before a work session. That's what work sessions are for. Please allow questions from the public and discussion. Probably not going to happen this bunch. As far as Mr. Bratton's police stop, I would like to see the body cams of the police officers. You do not build community with skin color. You build it with truth. Preaching and racial accusations are not necessarily truth. They can be emotional opinions. With regards to the park commission, the city does not need to be involved with a swimming pool in any way. Cost of upkeep and liability insurance would be prohibitive and unwise in a normal situation. You know, we do have the YMCA at minimal membership costs. Just because you have these advisory committees doesn't mean they all have good ideas. They can guide you and help spread the blame if something goes wrong, so you don't get it all, but that usually results in a minimal benefit since you followed their advice. The Salisbury Zoo Commission, Mr. Dale gave the mayor an opportunity to make an hilarious but subtle comment to April Jackson when she said she would like the ocelot in her living room, and the mayor slid the is he a carnivore comment. You can see the mayor perform every 2 weeks at city council meeting. It only costs thousands in taxes
Okay, thank
and
you very
water
much,
bill
Mr.
and
Smith. Thank you
sewer.
very much. Thank you.
Hard act to follow. Joe Venosa, District 3. Before I address one thing regarding the council, I think it's a good example, that little interaction about clarifying exactly what acceptable behavior, what free speech, and what public comments are. I really think it would be useful in the future for the council with the attorney present to clarify the actual rules of public comment, just so people know, regardless of where you feel. Regarding ranked choice voting, I echo KT's point. I think it would make a lot of sense to put this on as a ballot initiative. I have never heard discussion in our city government until a few weeks ago regarding this issue, and I'm a bit concerned as to why it's being pushed now. It seems like there's an agenda there. And I'm not necessarily against it. Many places have it, regardless of political lean. New York City has it. Alaska has it. But it's interesting that it's never been raised before until very recently. So I think we need to do our due diligence, and we need to actually address the public before any decisions are made. Regarding the tax abatement, I concur that it is a bit odd that certain nonprofits, and they're good nonprofits, not-for-profits. I've nothing against Habitat for Humanity, but apart from the legal issues in terms of needing state-enabling legislation, I think it opens up the door, too, to some concerns about favoritism, because if you allow it for one nonprofit, what about others? I'll say it once again, the council has every ability to pass an affordable housing component. You haven't done it in years, you've never done it, and nothing is stopping you. So that can be a very simple solution to that. Last point regarding social media comments. And I want to preface this by saying that on our show Open Agenda, we actually had the opportunity to interview Miss Vanessa Parazal's sister-in-law and neighbor regarding her ICE abduction. We've tried to cover these issues in the community, and I'm broadly supportive of the general concern and fear about ICE's tactics and approach. But the issue here, once again, is that Councilmember Gregory happens to use social media in a way that is always toxic, divisive, and I think immature. I'm speaking as somebody who has had his child made fun of on her TikTok page. I'm speaking as somebody who was essentially targeted by her with a gun meme not too long ago because of Open Agenda's coverage. You have every right to do that, but the consequences of that matter. I think you need to act in a more mature way as a public official and hold yourself to a higher standard, because you're not a private citizen, you are an elected official, and you do represent all of us, even if I broadly agree with the sentiment. The way it was done was disgraceful and distasteful, once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Claire Roman. I live right here in downtown Maryland. Everyone's focusing on the wrong thing here, I believe. An adult used a sound that had a cuss word. Oh no. We need to focus on what it's referencing. It's referencing ICE in our community. You all want to talk about language used, but the thing is ICE has been kidnapping men and women from their families. In our own community, ICE took a 24-year-old mom in front of her kid's school right down the street from here. ICE took another mother before Christmas, and she sat in a cell while her son died of cancer. A father now sits with no son or wife because of ICE. I see every day in my line of work how families are affected by ICE. And because of what I see, I'm up here to ask one simple question. Instead of crying about language, let's worry about the important part here, which is the families being ripped apart by unfair laws. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Langford, 1026 Arthur Court. Two things I want to talk about this evening. One is the tax abatement. Echoing Mr. Taylor's comments, it was very vague. There just needs to be some definitions added to it. I understand it's a draft, so these are just suggestions, right, on how to improve the thing. Correct. So there are no definitions on low and middle income. You know, these just need to be defined, you know, in order to be workable. The application required is just vague and ill-defined, and I also want to echo the tax abatement thing aspect for specifically for Habitat for Humanity is redundant. Like, they already have all those things plus a little bit more from the deal I feel like it was 4 years ago, but yeah, whenever it was. But like, so yeah, we don't need to like pass extra legislation, but I do think that like it said on there about there being an application that open to any nonprofit that focuses on housing and stuff like that. And I think that just like maybe making that a general like application that people can, like there's whatever that is for the WIN program or whatever, that, you could just do a simple online application, that nonprofit can, if you have these funds. So that's, you could just streamline it. You don't necessarily have to make an ordinance in that way, but at any rate. And then the other aspect is just freedom of speech is, I think it's contentious because everyone's not going to agree all the time. It doesn't matter what, I'd say this all the time. I can pick any opinion about abortion, gun control, immigration, whatever, and 20% of people, no matter what opinion I express across the spectrum, 20% of people going to hate it. And it doesn't matter who that is and how they express it. What specifically is protected is any verbal expression, symbolic acts, people can wear armbands, and offensive speech, specifically in political speech, is protected. You cannot incite violence, and you cannot encourage people to do illegal actions. Those are the prohibitions, and like hate speech, right? So like hate speech, inciting violence, and illegal acts, right? So that's what restricting freedom of speech. Anything that people say that you don't like, we can't really do that without, bringing potentially a lawsuit against the city. So thank you very much. I believe in the First Amendment.
Thank you. Any other comments before we move on? Okay. All right, with no further public comments, the time is 6:25 PM, and the legislative session is now adjourned. We're going to go right into the work session, and it is 6:26 PM. And now I call the work session to order, and we're going to be talking about resolution amended SC 725. City Administrator, Nick? Mr. Rice?
So this is updating the city charter to have the signature of the city administrator and the deputy city administrator as that backup, and the director of finance and the director of finance's deputy as their backup.
Discussion.
So currently, right now, it's the council president and the council vice president. That's what is currently happening. So that's the change that we're requesting.
I got a question. It says it's in alignment with best practices, municipal best practices. What best practices are those? I mean, where it says generally accepted, usually there is a checks and balances where the council and the executive in any situation.
So by best practices, we're saying that generally it's not elected officials that are on the actual check signers. Those are generally employees. So it would be administration and then the head of finance who oversees all of the expenditures throughout the city.
Okay.
And we do have Sandy if we have further questions.
If you want to come up
Yeah.
and just give us a rundown as to, basically what's going on here. That was my question about it.
Good evening, council. Sandy Green, Finance Director. Actually, I think it's because our charter is so old that this was before modern accounting systems were even in place.
Right.
So actually, it's mixing the duties. It violates the principles of segregation of duties because it's a key internal control where you should be separating the powers of the council and administration, and the council is the legislative branch, and they adopt the budget and they authorize the spending, but they should not be the ones executing the payments. So it should be the administration that executes the actual payments. And in most municipal and county charters, the checks are signed by the finance director and then another designated administrative officer, not by elected officials. And it's actually, I'm surprised that our auditors didn't say anything because it actually could expose us to an audit finding because it could also be legal concerns because of weak internal controls.
Gotcha. Okay.
When was the last time that anyone from the council signed a check?
Well, it actually is just automatic, and it's probably like years ago when the checks were printed, they actually, I think our AP person said that they actually had to take the stack of checks to the council president and they had to sign them. But now it's just on the computer, and then anytime it changes, we have to get our software providers to update the signatures.
It's a pre-printed signature.
It's a pre-printed signature.
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that that was,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
no
you.
worries.
And
Thank
then
you.
the county, they have their executive and finance director on theirs. So it's just more, and it's with GFOA standards as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
And then there's no controversy.
True. Any other comments? Councilwoman DeShiel, any comments?
No, it makes sense.
Councilwoman Jackson? Holland?
Keeps us out of the loop as far as trouble.
I think we all concur. I think we've come to a consensus about it.
Yeah.
It sounds like to
That's
me.
fine. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. Okay. Ordinance, a state grant for the AEDs. Fire Chief Rob Frampton and EMS Lieutenant John Dennis.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
We're here asking support on the acceptance of a $5,000 grant that the Salisbury Fire Department was recently awarded. This grant is a cardiac device grant offered by the state of Maryland annually. This is actually the second year in a row that we've been awarded this grant. It's typically a 50-50 grant to be used for AEDs on public safety equipment. Currently, we have funds in our accounts to cover the other half of the 50-50 grant. So we're just asking for support this time.
Gee whiz, that's hard to ask. It's terrible. Discussion? Councilwoman DeShiel?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
That's good.
Councilwoman
Appreciate you
Madden?
guys finding grants like this and going for them.
It's imperative you have these
You have
AEDs.
to have them,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Councilwoman Holland?
because I may need one.
Let's hope not.
Right. No, I think that's pretty straightforward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It sounds like we have consensus?
Yes.
Yeah, we have consensus. Okay, perfect.
Got the next item, too.
Yes, the next item, go right ahead.
Okay, so the next item is a request for $50,000 from surplus to go into our medical supplies account. In the past, we've been able to cover these costs through internal budget transfers. However, due to increasing costs of these items along with our increasing call volume over that same time period, this has come much earlier in the budget year than what we're used to. In the past, we've taken funds from surplus sale of equipment, radios, we've been before you before for that, as well as ladder truck and a brush truck, and transferred money in over the years to cover that. We don't have that option right now. We don't have anything that we've surplused recently to have extra funds. But what we do have is the Medicaid underpayment funds that'll be coming in later this year. However, we've got to get to that point. Those ESP funds that come in are anticipated to be around $500,000. Which will more than cover the $50,000 transfer to the medical supplies account so that we can keep buying medical supplies and saving people's lives. So we're asking for your support for the $50,000 transfer from surplus, and with the intention that the ESP money, when it comes in later this year, will go back into surplus in more than the $50,000 that we're taking out now.
And this could very well be seen as another reason why we need to get that fire service agreement nailed down.
Yeah.
Any questions, council?
I agree with
Any questions? We have a consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have an ordinance for sanitation and streets budget amendment. Director of Field Operations, Mike Dryden.
Down to me.
Snow?
Don't say that word, please. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I brought along the city sanitation manager, Monty Thomas.
How you doing?
Hello.
Just-
Good evening. Thank you.
Just in case you folks have any questions after my presentation.
Okay.
So I try not to come to you all very often unless I need something, so guess what? I need something. Our sanitation budget is very low, along with our streets department budget. We started with about a little over 90,000 at the beginning of the fiscal year. We're about at 11K in our vehicle maintenance account in sanitation. It's just the wear and tear of the vehicles, the expense. We've maintained the same budget for the past few years. Everything else is going up. We're staying the same, so it's not feasible. We try to be creative about pulling money from different accounts. I can't do that because those monies are dedicated to those accounts. So if you don't want to see me again next month. So I'm here asking for an additional 90K to be put in the sanitation budget, as well as an additional 30K to be put back into the streets department. Both of the departments, the vehicles, is this working? I'm sorry if it's not. It's just, again, it's the wear and tear, large, expenses. I have some costs I could share with you. I mean, we're looking at, in July, we were looking at $10,000, $1,500, September, $21,000. So our trash trucks, they take a lot of wear and tear. Our side loaders, I think in the beginning, once we started purchasing these side loaders a few years ago, the idea was we have side loaders, you don't need a lot of manpower. Fortunately, the side loaders are doing a lot of work. So it's a lot of moving parts with that, so they break down constantly. And Monty here could give you some examples if you would like some. And again, with our streets department, it's the same with our dump trucks, salt bodies, things of that sort that are starting to see their age, and we're constantly working on them. I will say that Monty has implemented a very successful, very proactive approach to trips before the guys get on the routes. He makes sure that they can do anything maintenance-wise to their levels of understanding that before they hit the road, so that way it does alleviate any of those unforeseen issues. And with that, I also have to give my hats off to our fleet garage folks, because I'll put them up against anybody around here. They are good at what they do, but they are constantly working. So it's no lack of us trying to get through this. So that's our request right now.
Yeah, I want to add a couple things. We've kind of done a little bit of analysis. We bought those 4 trucks in the last year, and that's helped tremendously. But they've broken down at a disproportionate rate than we realized, and they're working hard. So what we are looking at for next year's budget is to possibly move the trash component of the enterprise to $8 to $10 a quarter, and that would add us enough money to add a 5th truck. So we would have, if one was out, we'd have a 5th one to rely on. And secondly, perhaps we could bring in our hydraulics in-house, because if you look at what we charge relative to the commercial market, we're like 55%. I mean, literally, we're not charging enough for what we're delivering, so we need to bump it up a little bit and still, I think, be fair, way fair to the public. But we've got to have a few more dollars to do what we're doing. So, you guys are doing a great job, but it just takes more to make that thing work.
I just have one.
Excuse me.
That's okay. Tell us what you.
Well, it's just basic, like you said, it's just basic maintenance. Breakdowns, and I mean, the trucks move a lot. I mean, we got like 45,000 cans a week that we dump. And, the automated trucks have a lot of moving parts. So, I mean, it requires a lot of maintenance to that truck. Yeah. And a lot of upkeep. Like the fuel filters, they say change them every 6,000 miles. Ours is crapping out at 3,000 miles. You know what I mean? So it's like parts are not lasting as long as they should be.
Yeah.
So with the 4 trucks that you have gotten last year?
It's total of 3.
Total of 3.
Well, yeah.
So, and I'm speculating.
Mm-hmm.
How many trucks do you think you would need to keep you in the loop?
In the loop?
Yeah, to keep you.
Well, we run 5 trucks a day.
Okay, so 5 trucks a day.
Yeah.
And is that keeping you on schedule?
Yes, that keeps us on schedule. When they stay operational.
Yeah, right.
So you have trucks now that are just not promising.
Yeah, and the new trucks.
And the new trucks are being worn.
Yes, it's a lot
because
of
they're
wear and
running
tear.
more
Yeah.
To make up
keep,
for the bad
keep
ones.
up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you, how many trucks do you think we would need to keep you?
I mean, you would need at least 2 or 3 backup trucks just to keep, on hand and keep the service for the residents,
Yeah, that's what we don't
See-
want what
Yeah.
happened last
Last
year,
time.
year before last.
Yeah.
We don't want that to ever happen again, because that was so humiliating and embarrassing
Yeah.
that we had to go to other cities and counties to get them to help us. And things like this are a necessity. It's a need for it. And you had residents and citizens that were very angry, frustrated, and we don't want that. We don't. We really don't want that. That was totally embarrassing to me. I had people calling me in reference to it, and it wasn't too much I could say. They're doing their best. All I could say was you're doing your best. But if we need 2 to 3 more backup trucks, then we need to be working to get 2 or 3 more.
Are they in the CIP that's coming to us soon?
Next year. We didn't put one in this year.
You didn't put one in this year?
Because we just got one last year.
We were hoping that the newer trucks would, be more resilient, but we've had, so, and the other problem is that one shop's in Easton, so they can sit there 2-3 weeks, and so they're out of circulation. So we need a little bit more inventory of trucks.
But
So,
what we need to know too, things are not made like they manufacture like they used to be. No. They're not made to last very long.
No.
And that's the whole ploy of these industries now, because they know we need them and they know we have to go back to them. So that's why I'm saying if we got 2 or 3 more backup trucks, it will put less of a burden on the trucks that we already have.
Yeah,
I've
'cause-
Question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, because that's what it is. I mean, you got the same truck on the route every day. One of the brand new trucks, Friday, went to pick up a can and the arm fell out. And this was a brand new truck, but that's how many times, we're dumping, we're dumping,
How many tons?
we average about 1,000 tons a day. So we're dumping like 5,000 tons a week.
Wow. So you say they're supposed to last 6,000, they're lasting about 3,000 miles, right?
It's like half the life, yeah.
So just to quantify that, my 3,000 miles driving in my personal vehicle is not the same. How fast do you build up 3,000 miles on one of these vehicles?
Basically, them vehicles, I said 3,000 miles to make it better understandable, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
300 hours.
300 hours, okay.
Yes.
That's
So, I mean,
crazy.
yeah, it's a
That's-
lot.
that's-
It's a lot. And then the truck stops and goes. So that's wear and tear on brakes. Like, the brake job on one of them automated trucks is like $3,000 just to do the front. That's not the back. And they'll go through the brakes in like 8 months
Yeah.
because it
So
stops.
if we
and
have
go.
more trucks, spread it out, they won't break down as frequently.
And so while one truck is in the shop, the other one's pulling harder.
Yeah.
Double duty.
order more, yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
just like me.
Yeah.
I think we should strongly consider a truck in the CIP this year.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
what's
at least
a new
one.
truck cost?
$500,000.
So before we start buying 4 of them, I mean, that's it.
No, I didn't say 4. I said we need to put one in the
I know,
CIP this year and one for next year.
We agree
That
with
would be
you.
2.
When we start the budget process, we can look at, there's gonna be a lot of asks, and $500,000 goes very quick.
The thing to keep in mind as well, side loaders only need 1 operator. If we went back to rear loaders, that means more bodies as well.
You gotta hire more.
We need more staff.
Well,
Even with the side loaders, Monty and Mike, I've watched you guys in my neighborhood, gotten to know you. The number of people that don't follow directions when they put out their trash. You have about 10 extra bags next to the trash can. I'm thinking, seriously? That is not what their job is, to get out of the truck, pick up your trash, because you're too lazy either to put it in the big container or to break it down. And, yeah, I mean, so you've got those factors. That's time, that's manpower. And credit to you, Monty, because one of my special guys who is no longer doing the rounds, truck broke down, and it had just been fixed. And someone was there within 20, 30 minutes with a new truck, with another truck to replace it.
Yeah.
And this is on all the time. But I don't know how we can communicate to the public what you do with your trash. And to make it easier, it would help if you'd even turn it in the right direction facing the street instead of backwards.
And we also still should let people know that these trucks are very expensive.
Yeah.
And if they don't want what happened a year,
Yeah.
2 years ago, then this is why we have to go up on certain things, because things are expensive. Even though they
Communicate it.
don't work like they should all the time, it's just the price, just like you buying a car.
Yeah.
You buy a car, 2026, and you can get down the road and something happens to it. And by these vehicles being worked as much as they're being worked, I do think you do deserve at least one per year. Because, I mean, it's a lot of strain, and those are some big trucks, and I know the fleet and maintenance team, you say they work, but that's a lot. That is a lot. And, I mean, I'm sitting here saying this, but I guess when the citizens come up and talk about it, we can see how they feel, but they need to know how you all feel as well, and how much of a strain it is on the employees.
Yeah. Well, that $8 or $10 will get us well within the range of being able to afford another truck and do some of the hydraulic work. You know, it's basically cylinders and hoses, and they can do hoses internally. They just can't do hydraulic cylinder work. So if we can bring that mechanical work home, we'll not only pay less, but we'll turn around faster, which will make us less dependent, which I think is where we're going.
How would you bring the mechanical work home? What do you mean, Mayor?
In the shop.
To bring it into the shop
Into the
instead
shop,
of setting it
which
out to
you can't
Easton or
do it-
wherever.
You
You know.
can't do now, correct? Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna keep Monty busy. So, Monty, what do you need? He goes, I need some extra cash. Give some cash.
But are they qualified to do all the work?
Well, we might have to go out in the market and find somebody that's really a hydraulic mechanic, but we'll see. We've got some good guys in the shop.
We've got a really good staff in our shop, very good.
Just need equipment, to
If
do
you
it.
say so,
I do, and we've got a great sanitation division, too.
I believe you, I believe you, I believe you.
And that per hour labor cost for that hydraulic is,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not just time, it's money,
crazy.
big time.
I know somebody who did metal hydraulics.
Yeah.
And it was expensive.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like we have a consensus, council. Do we have a consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we have an ordinance to reallocate PAYGO funds from completed capital projects. Finance Director Sandy Green.
I have a partner.
I'm here.
This is my partner on.
I got you, Sandy.
Okay. Well, basically, we're starting to, we've been going through some of the bond pools that have a lot of old money that's been sitting around that either projects are finished, there's not enough money left in that particular project to finish it. But in this particular case, the ordinance that you have in front of you is from PAYGO funds, and this is reallocating the PAYGO funds from various bond pools. And we have identified 3 projects: City Park, the zoning code update, and the St. Peter's Main Street projects that need additional funding. And that is what these small lumps of money from PAYGO are going to those 3 projects. Most of them are just cleaning up. Some of them, if you look at some of the bigger ones, I know some people probably have some questions about those, especially some of the ADA ones on here. The Vision Zero ADA PAYGO, we actually allocated $50,000 towards that particular project, and it did Newton Street and Smith Street, and that cost $33,000. So there's like $10,000 in one account and $6,000 in another account. That isn't enough to do another ADA project, but we do have other money that's been dedicated for the ADA, which is the CDBG money and Safe Streets, and all that still is in the approval process. I don't believe Safe Streets has been fully approved.
I think
for
it is.
everything
I
yet.
think it is shortly, but it's not 100% yet.
And the CDBG, that's, I think, in the next round of money. But also, too, just a note, the account numbers on here, if you look at the last two digits of the account number, like the first one's from 2014. So it's 2014, 19, 22. So they're like small buckets of money that there's leftover funds in that we're just putting towards, asking to allocate it towards these three particular projects so that we can, because they're ready to go, so that we can finish those.
And to your point, Sandy, the Safe Streets for All money will be used for general pedestrian improvement as well. So sidewalks and that kind of stuff throughout the city.
So that would cover, I know that someone had sent us information questioning about the Safe Streets piece. Even if it's for pedestrians, that would impact, or you'd consider that part of repairing sidewalks.
Well, we also have CDBG money that is
Right.
going to be for ADA ramps and sidewalks.
Okay, so as long as the sidewalks would address the safety that's been brought up, as well as the pedestrian portion of Vision Zero, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions, council? Any other comments? Do we have a consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
We have a consensus to move it forward?
Then the next ordinance
Yep.
is also the same thing, but it's on the water sewer fund, and this is actually a $130,000 pump that was put on the Schedule B in the FY '25 budget that was going to be paid for with bond proceeds, and we decided that a better use of the money would be from PEGO. Instead of putting it under bond proceeds, it'd be financed for 15 years. And these are also projects that Corey identified as being finished, and as you can see, some of those are from 2013, 2017. And some of the bigger amounts are from interest.
Nice interest.
So you can see how long some of that's been sitting in that account to earn that much interest.
Any questions, council?
No.
Do we have consensus?
Yes.
Do we have consensus to move it forward?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. That was a lot of work that her and her team have been going through, so.
More work to come with the bond.
Yep, that's just the cash side. We'll deal with the bonds coming up.
Thank you very much. Very important. Okay, now we're going to be talking about an ordinance. It is in draft form. It's purposefully in draft, actually just to get the conversation started. Oftentimes, we talk about these things and then we don't follow up. If it's written and we've got it, the purpose of it laid out, then we could fine-tune it and move it forward. The purpose of this draft is to look at the small steps we can take to help our housing market, especially our nonprofits, the Salisbury Neighborhood Housing and Habitat for Humanity. A couple things as we were putting this together and we're having discussions, we looked at House Bill 1189, which was passed, as Mayor Taylor brought up. It was passed this past April. And that does give them automatic tax abatement for their properties.
I think we have already addressed the tax abatement locally for Habitat.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
But if Mr. Taylor, his comment is right that in order to provide abatements, we need enabling legislation for any other nonprofit.
Which would include Salisbury Neighborhood Housing.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. And we looked at I think you emailed me the one that about 5 years ago.
Correct.
Okay.
It's passed in 2021.
Yeah, we were in council admin the other day. I pulled up this HB 1189 at the state level, and it's basically saying any and all nonprofits are exempt from property taxes. I don't think it excludes properties they're going to sell, eventually buy to rehab and resell. So it would apply to those as well. I think anything that they own is exempt, includes hospitals, nonprofits, in any charitable organization, educational purposes. So I think we're covered.
And if they rent the properties, but they say the nonprofit still owns it, but they rent the property.
You know, I don't know if there's a business interest that gets included or not, but,
It's for sale, isn't it? For sale, yeah, for sale, I think.
yeah.
Has to be for sale.
I believe so.
Okay. A couple things. I know that we also were talking about connection fees, incentivizing connection fees to help this sector move some housing along as quickly as possible. Let me see here. EDUs.
Yeah.
Is that something we could put into this?
We'd have to probably create a pool of funds, and then once they're used up, they're used up. But yeah, you know, I mean, like NHS alone is going to have those 13 or 14. That's probably $50,000 worth right there. That said, just on that
For
one.
how many
project.
homes?
I think there's 12 there, 12 or 13.
12.
Yeah, there's row houses. So
Down on.
we could certainly look at it.
Yeah.
Of course, you got the connection fee, and then you got the EDU, which I think are distinct fees. So the big expense, unfortunately, and I don't know how it's going, is the actual work, the actual connecting of the line, which has gotten disproportionately expensive for some reason than it was, say, 7 to 10 years ago, you know? So I think it might be because we've got a limited pool of contractors who can do it because we have approved lists. I don't know. We'll have to investigate. But it adds quite a bit to a house to have to run a new line. Now, in the case of NHS, they may already have a connection. They may, because they were previously occupied, so they may not have to do that, pay a new connection fee. Now, are these on new constructions, or are you talking about rehabs of existing houses?
Well, on existing, I think the conversation will be interesting on existing housings, especially if we have a conversation on the receivership pieces of it. That'll be another whole piece, if that is even feasible. We don't know yet. We're looking into that. But I would say for sure the new houses. But how about if there's a house where they can get and they could rehab it? And
If they rehab it, they probably have an existing tap, so they don't have to pay for it again. It's already been paid for. So
well, definitely on the new houses.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So we could consider that, and you're saying the EDUs.
I mean, we could certainly make a budget item for it. Yeah.
How many homes would it be?
Well, it depends if we include connection and the EDU, but we can look at it. I mean, we'll do the math on it. And we could allocate maybe $50,000 a year, and then once that money was used up, we could make another allocation if it, you know.
Or if after the research has been done on the cost, allocate a certain amount for each property so that it helps more properties than just putting it with somebody grabs it first and then the money is gone. But I think we've got to have some numbers before we can
Yeah.
start giving these incentives away.
Yeah, Nick, would you run those numbers internally with the departments? We also talked about adding a possible, and I know that we haven't even broken out the calculator yet, but we did talk about a live where you work down payment assistance program. I know other counties have it. Some are up to 25K per qualifying family. The deferred DPA is not a forgivable grant. Can you decode that more?
You mean the FHA program? The FHA program is I think it recedes over time. Like the longer you're in the house, it goes down. There's no recapture. Well, we could certainly, look at that. I mean, that's a lot of money per transaction. $25,000. Montgomery County is a little different area than we are, but we could certainly take a look at it. I mean, encouraging people either for the city or working for the hospital, that live in the city would be great, But everything's pretty much moved to inside the footprint now because of water and sewer, at least on the new side, new construction side.
All right, so discussion, we're looking at getting numbers, looking at adding the EDUs and connection fees. I think that would be the biggest add to the tax exempt piece, which seems to be a given regarding their current tax status with House Bill 1189.
Yeah.
Do we give them, or do we know if we're giving any of the nonprofit housing agencies any discount or breaks on permits?
No. Now, on the NHS project, I think we waived they had to put that screening out there. We waived that fee. I can't remember the name of the fee, but we did waive, it was like $1,000. But that's it so far. I don't know what we're doing in terms of the permits yet. I don't think they've pulled permits yet.
When you say nonprofit organizations, who are they specifically?
I think Salisbury Neighborhood Housing and Habitat for Humanity are our two
Okay, so that's what we're
nonprofit.
talking about. So
Yeah.
Habitat is basically already taken care of. That's been established, not only from the state, but also locally.
Well, as far as the tax abatement for the property, when they buy
Right.
it until they sell it.
But they have other, kind of incentives as well.
But we're looking-
In addition to the repair grant that just was given to Habitat to be handled, I think that's who handles it. But I think we have to figure, if you want to wrap all this up in one, I know that Mr. Taylor recommended that we do something sooner than later to make sure that Salisbury Neighborhood Housing is also included at the state level, and bring that forward so that it gets to the General Assembly by February 1st, if at all possible, so that they know. It's a matter of just talking to the delegates and see how that can be written into a bill that can be proposed to incorporate them, and then we don't have to reinvent the wheel because it will come from the state.
I think getting that on their agenda this session is probably slim.
Don't know
But I
until
can
you
see-
ask, unless you ask them if they'll put it forward.
But you also, they have MML has a legislative group, and a lot of this stuff could go to them. And it may be a little too late to go to them now, but they have a legislative group. Committee, and I was on it before, and this is how a lot of the bills got to the House. Now, we can also speak to our delegates, but next year, if there's anything that we would love to do, we could still give it to the MML Legislative Committee to get some of these things passed and get through. A lot of them don't, but a lot of them do. But I never have seen anything from Salisbury, Maryland, or Wycomico County on that agenda. Never have I.
I do think, I could be incorrect, but I believe that in order to get a request for enabling legislation, it has to be turned in by the beginning of February.
February 1st. yeah.
February 3rd, so
Yeah.
we really
That's when they
don't
start.
have.
That's cutting it.
Unless we could put a bug in, 3 years, you have Adams, you have Carosa, and you have Sample Hughes. I'm not being disrespectful, just using their last names, but
How many, who on here would like to take that charge? Anybody want to take that charge?
sure, I'll contact them. Just to, and explain exactly what you want me to say to each one of them, that we want to amend the legislation to include Salisbury Neighborhood Housing, because both Salisbury Neighborhood Housing and Habitat, both, the end result is the
Yes,
same.
same.
So
Yes.
therefore, my feeling is what's good for the goose is good for the gander, so to speak. Let them both get benefits.
Yes.
So in other words, enabling, so, okay, that's fine. So that's what you want me to share, that they will be plugged in with the same benefits?
Yeah, I think that would
And I think that's,
Already in place, but it would be for, and correct me, because my go-to consultant on understanding this has been Mr. Taylor. And I will check with him, if that's okay with you, to clarify after I talked to the three of them, or before I talked to the three of them, exactly what I should ask for to make it easier for them as well.
So then, on the other hand, would we go ahead and, it sounds like two parts right now. The one thing with the legislative proposal, that's one step. The other step is to incentivize things now for both of them, for EDUs and connected fees now to get, even if it's for a time limited, even if it's for 3 years, 5 years, to go ahead and start moving housing quicker and get the housing occupied quicker.
I'm somewhat confused. The reason I say this, I think 1189 already covers us from the perspective of nonprofits not paying property taxes. If we elect to make tap-ins, connection fees, or EDUs exempt for nonprofits bringing houses on property, we can certainly do that through a legislation. We don't need to we don't have to go to the assembly
Right.
to do that.
Right.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out what are we talking about? What are we saying?
It sounded like there was two parts of this to me for some reason.
Okay.
It sounded like there was looking at or revamping or adding additionally to what we're doing already for the tax abatements for.
Tax abatements or incentives. Incentives
Right.
would be different
And
than
then-
incentives, isn't it?
And
As
then they
opposed to
spoke
tax.
about getting Salisbury neighborhood housing, the same affordability included.
The same package that we do
Same
for.
package that we do for Habitat for
Habitat.
Humanity, yes.
But are you saying, Mayor, that this bill to you already gives them the same that Habitat?
Yeah.
That's for the property tax abatement.
For the
They both have the same,
Yeah.
right.
Whether it's ABC nonprofit or home.
Right, but we were looking at doing the EDUs, connection fees.
Yeah, that's our fee.
That would be separate,
Right, that would be
right,
us.
from-
So that would be a
That
whole
doesn't
different,
require
that's a whole different thing.
Two separate items.
But it doesn't require the assembly to give us
No.
permission, because we do that with Here's Home for
Right,
obviously.
exactly.
So, yeah, I don't
That's
think we
already
need
in
to.
place,
Yeah.
and we don't need enabling legislation, is what the mayor's saying.
Correct.
In order, so then we don't
do
need
that,
to
right?
reach out to the delegates.
Would you, go ahead.
Not really.
Because there was two requests.
I agree with Mr. Taylor. I think that we need enabling legislation. I don't think House Bill 1189 fits the bill for this because my reading of it is specific to Baltimore City.
What I'm reading here, it says it's Maryland legislation. It doesn't say anything about Baltimore.
Baltimore City Property Tax Authority to impose on vacant and abandoned property owned by nonprofit organizations, authorizing the mayor and city council of Baltimore City. I think it's specific to that jurisdiction.
You're saying 1189 says that?
Yes.
I'm not reading that at all.
Maybe we need clarification on what 1189 says before.
Are you familiar with it, Bob? Okay. Okay. All right.
My concern about incentives, deciding on incentives now is because we don't have numbers to work with.
Well, I'll tell you how I
Well,
know
that's
it,
why we're
because
here to get the numbers.
SNHS
But we're not,
they told me
Yeah, they'll get it
before
tonight.
they don't have to pay property taxes on anything they own. So, they're already not doing it now. So whether they're doing it in compliance with the law, I think that's what I thought 1189 said. But they've been doing this well before I brought this up. So, I don't know. So we can research it. Okay.
I just hate to offer or even start putting in numbers for incentivizing until we realize, do we have the money? And what will be the return on these incentives that we are offering to everyone? That's all. That's just my concern. Where does the money come from that we may lose? That's all, if that makes sense.
Well, and that would be a good segue into the disparity grant money for us from the county. And it would also go in, that's a big chunk of money laying out there. But every little step we could help with housing and moving housing, getting people into housing is a bigger step for the bigger picture.
And I might say, I'll just keep continuing badgering this till it comes home. We've got to figure out what we as a city are going to request of developers that are coming in for new development, how we're going to define affordability and what they're going to do for the city in addition for, providing housing. Just throwing that little thing out there.
Because we have that right.
Yep.
We do have that right to basically demand what we want here, what we need here. I mean, like I said before, we let them come in here and they tell us what they're going to build. And we think it's fine because the developers coming in here creating a development or whatever, but what happens is, a lot of times those developers leave here and they either sell out to someone else, and it becomes a mockery, it becomes a mess, and then nothing's affordable. They want top dollar. They don't want affordability. They don't want that because they figure that's beyond them. But we need to make it known that we need it's a lot of people here that cannot afford the rents here. We have a lot of homeless families. We have a lot of homeless people. And we need affordable, obtainable housing. And not only that, it's no such thing anymore as affordable. It's tax credit.
Yeah.
Tax credit. So it's not, you can say affordable all you want to, but it's subsidized. It's not. It's tax credit. So we need to find a way to get things in motion to where we can get places for people. No, Rome wasn't built overnight, and neither is this going to happen overnight. But we need to do something to make this, put it in motion and push it, till where we're able to do these things. These developers have been coming in here for years and years and years and growing off of us. Their pockets have been getting fat off of us. And we have never, ever demanded the need that we need here in Salisbury, Maryland. And if anybody agrees with me, they know we need affordable housing. We need it. It's a need. It's not a must. It's a need. We don't make, people here, look where they're working at. Wawa's, McDonald's, Royal Farms, 7-Eleven. Look at the jobs. Who can afford $1,500, $1,600 a month or $2,000 working at McDonald's, Royal Farms, or Wawa's? Nobody. Nobody. And a lot of people and parents are working 2 and 3 jobs to maintain a household for their kids. And I can never remember seeing my parents work that many jobs. I can remember my father working a job, my mother working a job, and coming home and during the evening, we had our parents. These kids don't even get to see their parents half the time because they're working to take care of them. And this is really sad.
Let's look at some action items on where do we want to go from here. We want to make sure that what is on the books for Habitat for Humanity is not expirable. We want to make sure that we want to get numbers for the EDUs and connection fees. At least we know how much they are. We don't even know how much they are at this point. We want to get clarification on House Bill 1189 and make sure that that extends to us, because that's been a big part of the conversation. And then bring it back at the next work session?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Now, do you want me to still contact the 3 delegates or not?
I tell you,
I'm
Chris,
concerned about the timing.
Chris Adams,
Yeah.
his staff could probably research it for us real quick, or Mary Beth, either one. Although,
All right, that's fine, thank you.
there's probably other examples throughout the state of the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So I'll contact those 3.
Okay, that's great. Great discussion and a great place to start. Thank you, Council. Anything else on this before we move forward to the last 2 items here? Okay, survey update. Where are we at? I think today we all got an email about updated questions to go out for the survey. Did everyone have a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Is there any way that some others could be on there. Could we?
Because there was 3 questions, I think, right, on the survey?
Well, there's.
Oh, and an open-ended.
Yeah, there was an open-ended, if there was 4 questions. The 4th question was if they would attend a town hall, and then there was like an open-ended questions, comments, suggestions box. So it was like 5 things. And I worry if we add too many more questions, people will not.
Just looking at them, I wasn't clear enough when I sent in my suggestions, I think. I think that a couple should, and I just sent it to Julie, feedback, I think should be a little more clear in terms of what they're asking, because that would prevent people not understanding what they were supposed to address. And I don't have it with me, what I had suggested for the first one. In other words, 1, you didn't have a multiple choice if you were interested in, not number 1, I think it was the second bullet.
We changed that.
Yeah, so I'll just clarify that if that's okay with everybody else. It was a little, thought it needed to be more clearly stated so that somebody picking it up who knew nothing about it would still be able to take the survey.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I just want to make a comment here, and I'm all for the survey. I think it's great, but I think there's some confusion on my end. Ever since I took this seat, what I heard from the community was there was a problem with the appointment process.
That's the one thing I was going to ask about. There was nothing on there.
I get that, but let me finish where I was going with it. So I've heard there's a problem with the appointment process, and now I'm hearing we're looking at a complete election reform. So I guess I'm very unclear, because the citizens that have reached out to me have only talked about the process for appointment. And what I would like to know about the process for appointment, doing a special election, I want the numbers. I want to see how much it costs and how we can budget that in order to have the money for a special election. I have not heard the voters say there's a problem with the actual election itself. I'm all for data. I'm all for listening to what everyone has to say. But what I'm really sitting here for is the citizens. And if they don't see a problem, I'm worried how many people are actually going to respond to a survey to say that they want it changed. I think it's going to be a small group. What we need in order for ranked choice voting is enabling legislation. We're in the same boat right now for that. We don't really have enough time. And I'm just unclear how we went from changing an appointment process to possibly an election, special election, to now we're bringing up all these groups are coming together and giving us information. I appreciate the data, don't get me wrong, but I also don't understand where this came from. And maybe I missed something in this little over a month that I was here, but it was never communicated to me about election reform anywhere, and I especially have not heard it from the citizens. So I have a with this whole process right now.
My questions, actually, I'm going to resend them to the council. I actually had questions in there about the appointment process. I had
But that to me feels like, President, what we should be focusing on is a special election process. If later on, we have an election coming up in 2 years, maybe a little bit down the road, for me personally, I'll take the data. But until I hear from the citizens there is actually a problem with our actual election process, I'm not willing to change that.
I'll just, if I could piggyback on what you were just saying, Melissa. I have not heard anything about a problem with the elections and knew nothing about election reform until Councilwoman Gregory and Blake brought it up. And when I read the survey, the one thing I did find what I tweaked. I think if you're going to send a survey out, it just doesn't start with the way it was. It should start with, would you like to see election reform? Yes or no?
That was a question that I...
Type the list, and then you have the choice underneath. And then the third one, which addresses what the process would be, is it's not about multiple choice. It would be you choose one of the following. You hold a special election, and the sad thing is this is already out there. how we can do this appointment in answer to your question. Other municipalities have it written in very clearly. All we have to do is tap into those and make them ours. But for instance, hold a special election if there are more than 100 days left in the term, can be an option. Council makes the appointment after vetting of resumes and input from the district. Another one, leave unfilled if there are less than 100 days left in the term. And then the fourth one would be a tie vote by the council as decided by the mayor. So these are all things that other municipalities have done to change our process, as your constituents are asking about. I don't know. I'm not a survey person. I mean, anybody could do it. You can do it 2 or 3 times, I guess. But I'm also only one person. So if the majority feels we should have a survey, I'm perfectly happy to, go along with it. But it has to get.
Well, the reason why I recommended the survey is because it was those two, Angela and Michelle, kept saying that people calling them and suggesting it. And so I wanted to see how many people was contacting them to suggest it, because nobody's called you, no one's called me. Has anybody called you, Melissa? Nobody's called us. So I was kind of confused. So I said, let's do a survey and see how this is going to go.
I agree. I think a survey would be very helpful.
I think a survey would be very helpful as well. And, if people did, when they have spoken to me about this, if they are truly interested in it, they can fill out the survey, and that would give us good feedback. But I think the reason why we wanted to, part of the logic that I was thinking in talking about how we have our elections, is because if we hold a special election, do we want to do it straightforward as we've been doing it, or do we want to possibly visit looking at things like ranked choice voting, which I know is picking up popularity. There are quite a few municipalities across the state that have picked it up recently. If you go to Ranked Choice Voting Maryland's website, they list all of the municipalities and places in the state that allow for ranked choice voting now. So it's picking up in popularity, and that's why I figured let's address it now while we're looking at this.
Well, why are we always trying to be like somebody else? We're Salisbury. This one thing I'm sick and tired of, us going and trying to be like somebody else. Be ourselves. Be who we are. We are Salisbury. Half of those places they're probably larger cities than we are.
No, actually, most of them are our size or smaller. So that's.
I'm just like, I'm to the point where, and the survey, actually, be honest with you, and I once suggested, and I suggested it for a reason. It's trickery. It's to get people confused. It's going to get people very, very much confused in what they're doing. And we have a lot of seniors who do vote. This is the way to get them combobulated and say, what am I supposed to do? And then that's when I'm going to get a million phone calls about how am I supposed to do this, when we should just leave it. I'm like Melissa on another hand too. Why aren't we focusing on the appointment part of the election and not this part?
I just resent my questions, and mine did talk about the appointment. My questions did talk about the appointment. The other thing is, even people in this room had made, in the last 2 years, we can go back on many of the notes that brought up election reform. Many people who have come to our meetings and session did talk about ranked choice voting. They did talk about, and we could pull all of that up. There were many constituents that did come many nights talking about election reform.
You're going to need to pull it up for me.
Yep.
I think what I'm concerned about.
We'll be happy to do that.
I think I'm concerned, though, about who's going to do the survey. I mean, if you're going to do a survey to poll, you can't put it on a Facebook page. You can't throw it on a website and say, do a poll. And we got 2% of Salisbury to respond to it. If the poll is not accurate and doesn't represent Salisbury, there needs to be a lot of people going out and saying, there's a poll. I think you all truly, if you have no intention of wanting this change, do the poll. make sure, but it's going to take a lot of communication. You know, we tend to I found a lot in this world that we tend to throw things on a Facebook page and we tend to throw it on it's on the website. That doesn't mean anything. If people don't know how to access it and get to those items to find it, you can throw anything on a website and it means nothing. So I feel if we're going to throw this out there with all of these questions about, I want to see a high turnout of people participating, and it would be nice to have all of us pushing the survey out there. Because if a small percentage does, I really have very little faith in that. And that's just my opinion.
I agree. I can agree with that, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The number of respondents will be the telling tale on a survey, I think.
Yes. And then I think after the survey, then we still go out in the community and talk about ranked choice voting. I've done a lot of research. There's some advantages and there are some disadvantages. And I still want to hear the community's thoughts. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got to say, and I probably shouldn't say, but what I'm thinking. There's only one race in this last couple elections would have applied. It was my race. It was the mayor's race. So the whole idea that you're propping this up is got one word, not sentiment, not constituent involvement. It's complete fiction, politics. So, what I find amazing, and again, I try to refrain and be respectful, but the fact that you're saying this like you're saying it like, it's a lot of people, communities are using it, and I've heard from my constituencies. You and I both know that's not true. And I'm not trying to call you a liar. What I'm saying is, I talk to intelligent people.
We're not going to name
I talk
call.
to intelligent people every day. They don't even know what ranked choice voting is. So the idea that you have people calling you is it's utterly ridiculous. So let me just say it this way. The reason behind this is clearly politics, and you're trying to whip up people to support your cause that, it's silly. So
Just because it wasn't a public discussion, this was something I had brought to both the previous mayors when sitting down with them in meetings and asking and talking to them about things that I would like to see the city pursue based on feedback that I had received from constituents over the years. It never made it this far to having a discussion in the council. Just so you're aware, I had this discussion in meetings with the previous mayors, in conversations with the previous council presidents, including Deshaun. So it never got beyond that point. I was told no. So that's why I am bringing it here. I have been a long-time proponent of the ranked choice voting, okay? Well before I was even on the council. So it's just a matter of education, I think, for people. But I have heard from people, whether you believe me or not, I have heard from people that would like to see that brought to Salisbury. So.
Well, I just want to discuss just something quickly for me. One, it's irrelevant for me if you believe me or not, but the thing of it is, people in this very room, constituents in this very room, came up on multiple occasions and talked about election reform and ranked choice voting in this very room. So thank you. I mean, we've had a handful in this very room. So it has been discussed, it has been brought up.
But what election?
I'm speaking. Okay, well, you had your turn, now it's my turn. So I'm just explaining that it's not made up. Many people have talked about it and have been talking about it. So the survey update is that we're going to, redefine the questions? Sure. Okay, we'll redefine the questions. I went ahead and resent my list. I had 7. This time I sent them to everyone in the council. And on there was a clear question guiding about the whole entire about the vacancies and replacement process in that regard. So it was a combination of things, not just, actually mine didn't even talk about ranked choice voting, but anyway. So we can look at those. We were thinking about getting them out. If I'm not mistaken, did the administration office said that they would get it out by Friday?
We said we could have our communications department do that. Once you guys have the list of questions finalized, we could do that.
Okay. Okay, so when do we want to fine tune the questions? And I would like to get them over to the communications department probably Wednesday by 2.
I can send the questions that I submitted, I can send them out to everybody as well, if folks want to give feedback on them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Wednesday by 2, we'll have a set of questions that go out to comms. So, and then hopefully by Friday or at least the following week, they'll go out. And then we'll all, I think Councilwoman Holland had a good idea that each council person can then also disseminate the survey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it also would be good for the neighborhood newsletter that Rachel
puts
does,
out.
Put it in the newsletters and things like that. Any communications like that would be great.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, town hall update for March.
May I ask a question about the survey before you move on?
What is it?
So how is the updates for the questions happening? Who are they going to? And if you're sending your questions to the whole council, you can't reply all.
Right.
So can you clarify that for me?
Well, I sent my questions to everybody. I think everybody then send them to you, to, I guess, look at them, consolidate it, see what questions you wanted in it, refine the list that we had, send them back to you, and then the questions that are the most or the most consistent or whatever, we go with. I think we're going to want at least 5 questions. We want at least 5.
The last one being open-ended.
Yeah, the last one being open-ended.
Regular comments.
And then before we send them over to comms, and then you can just email them back out to the council and get the final approval.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go back for review before they
Can we establish first the appointment election first? That's one of the main things. We have an election coming 2 years from now. Why can't, well, a year, well, 2 years really. Why can't we just establish how we're going to do how we're going to do the process of appointing someone first? This is what we need to, this is where the problem came in from the very beginning, appointing.
Well, that's
the
what some of
appointment.
the
So
survey-
that's why we need to take care of that first, and then the process of how election reform or ranked choice or whatever, that could be later, but we need to focus on this. And one of the young men out here had a great idea. Put it on the ballot. Put it on the ballot and see how people really feel.
Yeah.
Everybody will get to see it. Everybody who votes will get to see it. Because 9 times out of 10, half of these people we're going to come in contact with, they don't vote anyway. And they're not going to vote. So my thing is, we need to focus on the appointment process of this city council and how things should be done. And then from there, we work on the reform. We need to, when everybody came to that meeting, it was basically about the appointment. It was about the appointment. It wasn't about voters reform. It had nothing to do with that. And the person, Lord forgive me, who said that about the voters reform and says that he doesn't know anything about it, he was the president when they stopped the primary election. And let that be known. I mean, I'm just sick of a bunch of pitter-patting around and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. We need to stick to what we're supposed to be sticking to right now. We're supposed to do what's right by the people. The people felt that the election for the appointee thing was not right, so we need to get that corrected first. So we can give them at least some relief to know that we are focusing on that. But we're talking about something that's going to happen 2 years from now. We have a whole nother year before we can handle that. And if we're going to put it on the election ballot, that's what I would figure we would do, because that was a great idea, KT. It was a great idea. Put it on the election ballot and everybody sees it.
Maybe, I think that should be one of the questions. put it on the ballot. Why don't we have that as one of the questions?
Yeah.
It should be a question.
No, that should
It
just.
should be just done.
I think it should be on one of the
Because
survey
just like I
questions.
said, whoever votes, they're gonna see that question, and they're gonna ask, because they're gonna send a ballot to the people, and they're gonna call each district representative and ask them, because I know they call me when they see something they don't understand, they call me and ask me, what should I do? Can you explain this to me? And then I will explain it to them without being biased. I'll explain it to them. Now, for me, I think that would be the better choice, to put it on the ballot, forget the survey, and let's do what's right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, up until, I don't know how long it's been, I have to do the research, when we went to districts where we had 4 at-large candidates, where there was 9 or so people, well, that would make sense to maybe have a ranked choice primary. Where you're going to rip, pick my brother ran, pick a number 15 years ago, whenever it's been. My point is, the idea that when we went to districts, we can barely attract 2 people to a race. So the idea that you've been chasing ranked choice voting for the last 8 or 10 years, it's like a dog chasing a bumper. It's like, what the hell? What the hell are we doing?
All right,
But why would we need to do that? You know.
You don't
So
do that.
I don't know. I'm saying I'm being facetious by saying, like,
Yeah.
why are we even worried about ranked choice when you can't even get 2 people to run in a race? So anyway.
Okay,
I would
the survey.
suggest on the survey one more thing. I agree with April. I don't see why it matters to the survey whether or not someone wants it on the ballot or not. I think that's our decision. You put it on the ballot. You have an explanation of possibly what we did before, and are you open, the wording would explain what's in place, why it happened, so, Melissa doesn't get slammed every time somebody looks at her and said the process was wrong. And you say, this is what the process is currently, this is what we are proposing as a change, yes or no. And that way it addresses what people were so angry about. And it wasn't about the person, it was about the process. As far as the survey addressing the election reform, again, why are we going to complicate the survey by putting too much in it and them getting it confused with one or the other? Either that or subdivide the survey into 2 groups if you really think that that information is necessary. I think you keep it simple. You address one thing at a time.
Yeah, I have to say, I work at a job outside of this that the surveys just don't get responded to.
Yeah.
I mean, we send surveys out to groups of people, and they're like, another survey. I'm not doing this. I'm kind of stuck on, and I'm gonna stick with what I said before. I would like to see the data of what a special election costs. Cambridge did one. It was a fee to it. I think that before we put anything out, we need data. We need to tell the citizens, this is what a special election costs. How are we going to budget it? We don't know when someone's going to walk off this council, not be funny. Something could happen to any of us at any time. So we need to know how that money for that special election, where is it going to be held? Where is it going to be budgeted? I am way more focused on an appointment process change than I am election reform at this time. I'm more than happy to hear from the citizens, and if that's what they want, I would support that. But at this moment, I haven't heard it, and it seems the appointment process was the issue. I've heard it over a month now that it was flawed. If that is, if that's what they want to see, that's what I want to focus on. And I would rather get them the data for that and let that decision be made. And I agree. If they want to change the way the election is, the county council, I'll go back to that because that's my example. The reason we have an executive and a legislative branch now is because of something that was put on the ballot. The citizens chose, not sure they exactly knew, they did choose, and that's what we have now. So I'm more interested in the appointment process change than an actual election reform. Send the survey, get the results. That's still my feelings.
Julie, real quick question. Would you rather I just send you my election reform questions? Because I did it very, very simple and straightforward. One was just level of knowledge, a question to get a baseline level of knowledge from people. One, if they were interested in reforming other parts of it, and one on the appointment process, and then an open-ended question at the end. So it was very straightforward. I did not, get too into the weeds on it. So would it be easier if you just send it out to everybody, or would it be better for me to? Because I know you said for people to not reply all.
So
What's
I'm a little confused. I think I need clarification, first of all, if there's consensus to do a survey. And then if we're doing the survey, are we doing election reform and the appointment, or just one or the other? Because after this discussion, I'm not really sure the answer to either one of those.
I'm not either. I think that's why we were sharing our questions, so that folks could get an idea of
what the question, I think just go over the questions and
think this
just,
should just go away.
well.
I think we
it's not
decide on the
gonna go away.
topic. Are we doing both, or are we doing one? And if we are, I'm in agreement with Melissa, is that we're addressing what was brought forward to us, and it was strictly about the appointment. So let's not confuse the issue, let's just do a survey on the appointment. If 6 months later from now, in preparing for the next election, you want to do another survey, then you do that survey on election reform. And also, I mean, these are going to be topics for, the town halls, I think we're disregarding the public's input by making a decision. Well, this is what we're putting on our survey, and, you do the survey, or, that's.
So you would rather do the town hall first and then do the
I know,
survey?
last week.
I think
last
if
week
you
it was
want to do
the
a
survey first and then do
you
the
want to
town
do a
hall.
survey, you do it on what Melissa her argument was earlier, you do it strictly on the appointment. That's it.
Okay, because I'm confused, because before we were asked to do the survey before we had the town hall. So,
And see,
yeah,
the town hall and also
I'm
came
fine
from.
with just doing the town hall. I'm fine with not doing the survey right now. I mean, if we want to put that on the back burner and wait until we have the town hall.
All those things were to get data.
I think that it was to get, it was to get data to know what people wanted to talk about at the town hall. This wasn't about this wasn't a decision maker for us. This was something to know what people wanted information on or needed information on. So that was all this survey was. This wasn't yes, we're doing this. It wasn't anything about that. It was literally just to get a baseline for where people were, if they had an interest in these topics when we do the town hall. That's what I understood the survey to be. So that's why I'm trying to figure out,
I guess my point is that if I'm interested, if you tell me the topic of a town hall, not us, anywhere, you tell me the topic of this presentation, right? If I'm interested, I'm coming.
Right.
I don't have to have a survey to tell you what I want to know about it. I'm coming to this town hall to be informed, to have a give and take. How do you feel? Someone takes note of how I feel, and then you use that information. But having a survey does not mean I'll go to the town hall, doesn't mean I even care about the topic of the town hall.
Okay.
So I think for the point of this conversation, I think step one is you guys get consensus. Do you want a survey?
No.
So let's start there, and you guys can get consensus on that.
I mean, this was their suggestion. If they don't want to.
I said it was mine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the reason why I did it is because y'all kept saying people were calling you. I wanted to know how many people was calling y'all.
Okay.
They are. They are. We could do the survey. I'd be more than happy to do the survey. Because last week it was do the survey before the town hall to get data. And the town hall was also to educate people on the possible choices that people talked about.
Well, that's where I got confused after the fact, because all of a sudden I heard that Pace is coming and this person is coming and this person is coming to give you all data.
Yeah.
Then I was a little stuck, data on what?
Well, that's
because I don't remember.
That's what the survey was.
Well, then that's when you went on I got your ranked choice.
Yeah.
I heard what you said, but at this point, this is how I feel. I don't know how anyone else feels. At this point, I am for sending out a survey about the appointment process change only. If in 6 months to a year we want to send a survey out and say, let's get this on the ballot and let the people decide, that's fine. Right now, I'm only interested in the appointment process.
That's fine. That is fine. I think it's still important that we hold the town hall.
I agree. I like data. That's fine, but
Sharon,
town hall is the point.
Councilwoman DeShields, do you think a survey on the appointment process?
Yep.
I'll agree with that, yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have consensus. We have consensus with something. We're going to do a survey on the appointment process.
Okay, how's that going to work?
The same way it would with the election questions. We'll get the questions to you by tomorrow. Councilwoman DeShield, Councilwoman Jackson, do you have any questions that you want to put forward with the appointment? I had some appointment questions in the
Yeah, I will.
indicators that I had,
I will by Wednesday.
and an open-ended question. I know that Councilwoman Gregory did.
I'll take a look at the question.
Oh, okay. And then by Wednesday at 2, we will send them the comps. And hopefully by next week, they'll go out.
Yes.
Okay.
And
good
then I hope
discussion.
that all of us do due diligence in making sure we get at least that out. I'm still
Yeah.
interested in.
I think so. I think that'll be good information. Okay, good discussion, and thank you. And just before we close, and, well, actually go to public comment, but March Town Hall, we were going to do at the Chipman Center, is that correct?
12.
We got confirmation for that then? Good.
March the 12th from 6 to 8.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that still on election reform now, or what?
Well, we're going to see what the survey says, but we're going to hold the date and time.
And how long is the survey going to be out? 2 weeks before the town hall schedule?
Yeah. Yeah, we said about 2 weeks.
That gives us multiple
And we can
times to
take
get
some
it
to
sent
the
out.
Yes.
town hall.
Neighborhood goes out once a month.
Sure. Okay, we're going to move into the public comment on agenda items only. You have 3 minutes. Please come to the podium, state your name, and if you are a city resident.
Hi, my name is Mike Perensky, city resident. I'm actually pretty encouraged by the discussion we had earlier about maintenance of the trucks. One thing I was thinking about during that conversation was the topic of the hydraulic shop being in Easton. I'm wondering if there's a market for that service down here, and if we do invest in being able to perform the hydraulic maintenance in-house, can we offer that service to other municipalities or even other vendors down here and make some money from doing that? So if we bring in the talent, buy the equipment, can we get a return on that investment just beyond, obviously services to the citizens? That could be a nice side hustle.
Illegal.
Just a thought. There's a lot of talk about tax incentives, housing. The draft comprehensive plan is available on the city website. The comprehensive plan identifies 5 impediments to housing and provides just some baseline thoughts. This is developed, the city planning staff put this plan together. If people are watching, there's all kinds of sections in here. I'm not saying someone has to read the whole thing, but if there's a section in there that's important to you, be sure to read it and participate in the meetings. The first one is this Thursday at 4 p.m. in this room. Then the other thing, I was going to talk about something else. Surveys. Comprehensive Plan actually did a survey. 429 people responded. That was like 1% of the residents of Salisbury. If you just include registered voters in that number, it's like 2.5%. So I don't know that we're going to get a big, we're not going to get a representative sample of feedback if just from a survey. And then the last thing I'm going to close with is, I already forgot, so I'm moving on.
Thank you.
KT, still live in the city. So with field ops, I'm gonna really back them guys on that. They could use the extra truck for one simple reason. They could pull a piece of equipment out of rotation for a day, 2 days, 3 days, however it takes. I mean, just power washing alone can take half a day. And you have to maintain clean equipment or it just breaks. Now, I was a heavy equipment mechanic for 20 years. I know how hard these guys are working in that shop. So if you can give them that little breathing room with an extra truck, I would personally go to town and, support it all the way. Yeah, it's $500,000, but look at the nightmare we had last year. So let's not ever do that again. That would be great, And as far as ranked choice voting goes, I have personally stood right here twice and asked for reform. I'm very much in favor of it. However, it's not my decision. It's not Michael's decision. It's not Bob's decision. It is the decision of the voters of the city, and it should be put in front of the voters of the city. That way it solves a lot of problems, gives us time to educate each other on what it is, how it works, whatever it may be. So I agree something needs to be done with the appointment clause. I've never liked that. So that is something you should focus on, but I really do think that ranked choice should be on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Lynn Bratton, and I swore I wasn't going to say anything, but I have to finish out with something here. Number one, kudos to you guys. The more we annex into the city of Salisbury, the broader the base they have to cover. Let's face it, what your 4 trucks covered 5 years ago is a bigger footprint now. So we need to keep that kind of almost like the student to teacher ratio. We've got to look at that in the numbers with the trucks. So I think that's a great plan to figure out some way to add a half of one next year, maybe a whole one the next year, like put $250,000 away for it in a sinking fund, and then we'll have enough for the new band uniforms. That's how we used to get band uniforms in the schools. You didn't buy them all at once. You put it in a sinking fund. Okay, that took up a little bit of my time. Number 2, the survey. Okay, I've had statistics at the college level and at the graduate level. Statistical analysis demands that you have enough people to make it statistically viable and that your data and your questions are statistically clear enough to get the answers that are not swayed. It's very easy to skew a data point by the way a question is asked. Very easy to skew it and get the results you're looking for. Number 2, the last time we had a survey, I answered it about 5 times just to see if I could do it again. I was just curious to see if I could do it again. I did it on Facebook, I did it on email, and I did it on the questionnaire, the thing that comes out every month that has like updates for the community. So who's to say you're not getting 25 people answering it, and out of the 100 responses, you're only getting 4 people, depending on who wants to really make sure something happens. I think the survey is a waste of time. I think it's inappropriate. I think your consensus was kind of skewed too, because at the one point you had 3 people that said, we don't need a survey, and then all of a sudden you kind of backed it up because nobody let the dog bone go, and you just kept going on it. We got to have a survey, and people finally just acquiesced to your demands. So I think that's just a waste of time, and your data that you get from it is not going to be worth the effort, and I dare you guys to make decisions based on it because it's going to be skewed and flawed data. That's it. Good night. Have a good evening.
Good evening again. Michael Langford, 1026 Arthur Court. About the survey, okay, so I guess like talking about rules of order. So legislative bodies legislate. So that means just vote on it. Stop debating about it. Everybody doesn't need to have a say in their personal opinion. Honestly, you guys are representatives, elected representatives. Your personal opinion isn't relevant to us. We don't care. We don't have to care as the constituents. You have to care about what we think. We don't have to care about what you think. That's how the relationship works. You guys got to understand the role that you're in. You don't talk down to people from positions of power. I have both tenants as a property manager and staff. I don't tell them. If they come in screaming about the heat being broken right now, they can scream at me about the heat being broken. You got to learn how to talk to people. It's crazy. Anyway, the survey, just vote on it. You don't have to debate the fine points. Everyone can make a point even, But the back and forth was wild. It was just recursive. Echoing what Ms. Bratton's comments were, how do you limit the number of times the person takes it, and how do you verify that the people that are taking the survey in the city live within the city, especially since half the people who live in the city don't live in the city because they got a city address, but they're out the incorporated limits. So how are you gonna like pinpoint their, like I just don't think the IT department is gonna be able to pinpoint people's IP addresses and make sure there's quality to this survey. So it just seems like a bad idea. Also, speaking of bad ideas, it's fallacious to follow things just because they're popular. It doesn't matter if other places like it or everybody likes it. It is about representing the people, as Ms. Jackson said, that live here. If people don't want it, they don't want it. I've spoken for it in favor before, but that doesn't mean that I want it now. People can change their mind. You don't need to incentivize development. People who develop, that's baseball players play baseball. Developers develop. If they don't develop, a lot of times because they can't get financing because they spread themselves too thin and they don't have the access to capital. So if they need, you don't need to incentivize developers. Like if they're going to develop, that's what they do. You're not incentivizing them by waiving the connect fees. That's how everybody got a 40% hike in the pandemic on their water sewer bills, is because y'all waived the connect fees for private development interests, even though, again, not against you guys, benefiting nonprofits, but not at the city's expense or at the taxpayer's expense. That doesn't make any sense, financially or otherwise. Contacting the state delegates, again, be a leader. That council president, that's your duties. Have a good night.
Joe Scafino, Salisbury. Regarding the survey, I agree with the sentiment. It would be a complete waste of time. Ms. Holland sounds like she's knowledgeable about that. I have a worthless marketing degree, and one of the things we talked about was a direct mail campaign. 2%, which is exactly what's expected. I also looked when the city did the survey for the bike lanes several years ago. I wasn't here, but I asked somebody in a couple of years ago, sent it to me, and I read through it. There was a very, very low response rate, and it turned out a majority of them were the college students at Salisbury University, not actual residents who lived here. And again, to Ms. Jackson's point, an issue like ranked choice voting should be on the ballot. It's not a survey question. Again, you're going to reach the most people. The people that are coming out to vote are the people that are going to be interested in it. Some of the things that again discussed, it's like it's a solution in search of a problem that we really don't have. So again, stick to the appointment issue. That's been the issue. Let's get that one straightened out. And, if somebody wants ranked choice as a ballot issue, then we have 2 years to do that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Dowling. I live on East Church Street. I just had two solutions, perhaps. One for the sanitation. This might seem a little over the top, but the guys driving the basically automated trucks, they're already skilled labor. They have a commercial driver's license already, and they require probably some more training. Correct? Is there a lawyer in here for like the city? Why couldn't they be code enforcement too and take a picture of every, like if they have the trash like you were talking about stacked next to the thing? There's like a little camera on there, and they seize trash service until they pay the fine.
Good idea.
So that one, and then the second one about the housing, lack thereof, and cost. There's a two-pronged issue, is jobs for income and then affordable housing. Well, I know there's a lot of ex-incarcerated individuals in the area, and I know parole and probation at one time was sending guys down to Tyson's to work when they on parole. Why not have them become home builders or construction instead of like filling Tyson's pockets with cheap labor, But perhaps they could coordinate with builders or local builders in the area and train guys, and there could be some type of like apprenticeship for ex-incarcerated individual or formerly incarcerated individuals to do, so they can start building more houses, and then there's better jobs because they can build their own construction company in one day maybe. So those are my two solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'm clean up. Still a city resident, still named Robert Taylor. I think the idea of the survey is buffoonery too. They can be stacked. You can get multiple responses from the same person or a small group of activists. Doesn't really mean anything. But I do congratulate the council for not making a mountain out of this molehill. The only objections that were significantly stated here at the podium the last few meetings have been about the appointment process. Let's address that. I want to give a shout out to the sanitation people. They do a great job. You wake me up every Monday morning when put that can back down. Here's my solution for you. You need a motto. How about this? Got trash, need cash. That's what we got. That's what we need here. Anyway, getting back to the thing about the ordinance for the Salisbury neighborhood housing, I think we can use the state legislation that's already on the books for Habitat as a prototype and just quickly revamp that. It's about a half a page long. Send it up to Annapolis. They can quickly do a bill. It can get it in. I think the deadlines for getting committee hearing this year are the very early part of February, approximately the 10th. You can look those up. I'm not sure of the date. And I think this can be easily done. I'll be glad to send Ashley just a mock-up of the stuff that's in the code already for Habitat. I'm talking about the state code. Another thing, I think a gentleman, I'm not sure about this, I think the hearing for it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. This is the Comprehensive Planning Commission. It's 4 o'clock, right? Right here in this room. This is very important. It's not going to be on PAC 14. So if you're interested, you better show up. Thank you.
Thank you. Administrative comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out our events team on the holiday events that took place. The one at the zoo I brought my kids with, and they loved it. That was really well attended. And I did go to the New Year's Eve one. I was one of those people that showed up right before the ball dropped because it was cold. But even still, that was well attended. So just a shout out to our ABCD department and all the city staff that worked on those events.
Yeah, I want to compliment them as well. This is the first time we've been met since we've had the New Year. So, yeah, we have well-attended events on both the tree lighting and the New Year ball drop. And even though, despite the coldness, I got a chance to get out with people and talk to a lot of people who live here in the city, and got lots of compliments of what we're working on. So, anyway, thanks for that. Thanks for turning out.
Okay. First, I would like to say thank you very much to Chief Mindshine and his team. I was able to go over and take a tour and have a meeting over the holiday break. That was very enlightening. Also, thank you to Chief Frampton with the fire department. I went over there, was able to take a tour. These visits for me have truly been enlightening, and I have learned so much. So thank you to all of you and your team. Last thing I'll say, on Thursday evening, I actually had the pleasure of attending the Eastern Shore Association of Municipalities meeting in Cambridge. We had local delegates, other municipalities were there, very informative for me. I will say that I found out that MML this year is prioritizing the tax differential and affordable housing. So it was very interesting to meet people from the municipalities and find out what the delegates' thoughts were. So that was very interesting. And I did enjoy the New Year's event, and thank you all for the discussion this evening.
Councilwoman Gregory?
I'm going to keep it short and simple. As someone who is frequently having to operate in crisis mode, this has been a very long week for a lot of folks, a lot of families. And when you are feeling like you are unable to get up and continue fighting on, I just want to give a little bit of advice that as a mom who has spent many, many weeks, days, months in crisis mode in a hospital where you don't know where what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes, let alone the next day. Take care of yourself. Self-care is one of those things that gets bandied about, but when we are in very stressful times, I would recommend finding some kindness for yourself. Like they say when you get on a flight or anything like that, you put your mask on first before you worry about putting it on someone else. There's been a lot of very, very negative things happening recently, and it can start to weigh heavy, whether you are experiencing them personally or not. And I just want folks to take the time to care about themselves. Give yourself the grace for 10, 15 minutes, unplug, put your phone down, stop doom scrolling for a few minutes, give yourself, get a cup of tea, something. When you are in this crisis mode, it can affect your health, and that can affect the people around you. And you are no good to folks who are suffering when you yourself are struggling. So just a word of advice from myself in what I have found over the years in being in crisis mode, in dealing with crises. So I appreciate everybody who's reached out. All the positive messages have been wonderful. And I appreciate everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeShield?
A couple updates. I want to thank Teresa with the Salisbury Police Department. She and her crew, Marie and Anna, who had a ladies' luncheon for all the women that work for the city, Christmas, and we all paid our own bill, so it wasn't a cost to the city. And it was just fun. It was great. It was great. It said Santa Claus and everybody. Something else that was so gratifying was to participate, Nick and Randy, and I enjoyed Truett Street hosted the Christmas Boys and Girls Club when they did an event on the 19th of December. And because of all the departments in the city, they adopted, I think it was 119 children that were able to benefit with a Christmas gift and pizza and that kind of thing. I won't take the glory from April's event. She can tell you what she did with her senior event, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun for that. The mayor, he will not give himself credit, but he is creating an initiative with both Nick and Alan to address and bring resources together to try to address the homeless situation in the city. And we've had a couple of meetings and will continue to do so on that front. The airport today's meeting, the new airline Breeze was very happy with their December passenger list. And because, of course, everyone wanted to fly cheap somewhere, and they were happy with that. And I just have one food for thought. And I know that Michelle made a point about the support that she has gotten. When anything happens in the city and there's a definite divide on it, the council members get a lot of emails. And I appreciate these emails from all the members of the public, and whether you're for or against it, because it's not my decision to make that judgment call. You are entitled to your opinion. But I will ask you to do one thing, those of you that are here or in the public. Please stop with the canned emails. Please give your original thoughts when you have something to say, pro or con, about something, because they are far more valuable to me when I get a real feel for what you are sincerely feeling and not just passing on a canned email. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jackson?
Michelle? as a person who has actually been spanked before, and I'm being honestly, I've been spanked before because I said something that maybe I shouldn't have said, or the language that I used, which it wasn't profanity. It wasn't profanity at all. I just ask that we as council members refrain from going on our Facebook pages and on the city pages, our city pages, and using profanity. However you feel, we all might feel the same way, but it just can't be expressed like that because we have multiple people looking at us, and if we represent the city, we have to be very, very careful what we say and how we say it, because it could come back and literally smack us in our face. I was really hurt because, like I said, now I'm not going to chastise you. I'm just going to tell you the truth. It hurt when it came to me. It was hurtful when it came to me because I'm not coming to you like they came to me. They were mean to me when they came. But as a person who has been through and done the same thing that you did, but not at the extreme with the profanity and things, let's be mindful of what we put on Facebook. I don't care how we feel, I had to readjust. I had to actually reevaluate myself with some things that I would love to say. And no, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that this man is doing, but we just have to refrain from doing some of the stuff and saying some of the things that we have said. I'm not here to beat you up. I'm not here for that. I'm here as a leader, as a representative of our city, and I just want us to get on the same accord. And I just want, if everybody on this council should have said something to you about it, whether it be, I don't know, I'm not asking for anybody but it was hard for me. It was very, very hard for me, and I understand, like, when you're going through something, because at the time that I did it, I was going through something. I lost two of my major friends, like a sister and like a brother, in the same week, and it just, when I heard about the death of children being killed, it just sent me to a whole nother level, but we have to be cautious, and we have to think. What we may think shouldn't always come out of our mouth, and that's all I have to say. Thank you. And as far as the Christmas program, Dr. Martin Luther King celebration is Monday the 19th at 6:30 at First Baptist Cultural Center. We have actually sold out of tickets completely. Just sold out. They sold out before Christmas because we only have a setting for 300 people. But what I want to say is this is a commemorative time for us. Every genre, every race, this man fought for everybody so we could all have equality. He just didn't fight for African Americans. He just didn't fight for Asians. He fought for everybody, and he did it in a very peaceful way. He wasn't violent. He was a nonviolent man. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, it's too late. If you have, I'm quite sure you will have a very enjoyable time. And I think I talked about the Christmas thing last time, but we had like almost 400 people, including the help, and it was marvelous, and it was free to all. Everybody got a gift when they went out of there. We just had, the mayor was there. He came, Sharon helped serve. We danced, we had a good time. Matter of fact, they were dancing before the event even started. They were dancing. So just to see the senior citizens get out and enjoy themselves is a treat for me. It does my heart good to be able to do something back for my community. It's not about me, it's about the whole community, it's about the city, and it's about my district.
You didn't think I could dance, did you?
Huh?
You didn't think I could dance, did you?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But he did, wait a minute, he did have some moves. But I appreciate everybody that showed up, donated, were sponsors, that did everything. You know, if it wasn't for you all, it wouldn't have never happened. So I thank you all. Thank you.
Are there any tickets left for the breakfast at the Civic Center for Martin Luther King, the event? That's the same day, but it's in the morning.
What breakfast?
You're going to it.
No, I'm going to the dinner.
Yeah, that's 6:30, but there's the breakfast.
It's the children, it's at the cultural center.
Yeah.
It's not at the civic center anymore.
There are two, though.
Are there?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I don't
Isn't
know.
there?
Hannah handles all
No, I know the children's dinner that used to happen at the civic center is now at First Baptist Cultural Center. And after that is over, then it goes into the adult
Oh, okay. All
thing.
right.
Yeah, they had to move it from the county because the county wouldn't give us a break. After 41 years, we still never got a break, so we had to move to where we could make it affordable. And this year, the Martin Luther King banquet, we're giving out a scholarship.
Nice. Okay. I think the only thing I have to say, it's been a very productive week. It's been really great meeting with the admin and Mayor Taylor, getting a lot of things done, discussing a lot of things, and putting a lot of things in play. So that's been very productive and appreciated. I think the council appreciates it too. And with that, we are adjourned.